Hi everyone, it's Denise, and today I'm going to talk to you about Chemo cold caps.
If pretty little bluebirds fly above the rainbow, why, oh, why can't
So again, I don't sell these, and right now I'm not sure, you can call the company Elastigel and ask them to start making them again and get their certification going as fast as they can. I am so happy that I can bring you some good news after getting, I know, so much bad news with the diagnosis. So this is probably the most often question I receive from newly diagnosed patients. So I'm so glad that I can get this up online for you and that you can see how they work, what they are. And let me tell you, they are FDA approved. UCSF, San Francisco, has got them FDA approved. Dr. Hope Rugo is such a hero. Thank you. So this is a Chemo cold cap. A little heavy. It's just a gel cap that's been formatted into a helmet. And the theory behind this is it's vascular constriction technology. So basically, when you freeze your scalp, the veins at the top of your head close up. And so the chemicals from chemo don't reach your dermis. I don't sell these, but I use these. And I started a donation program so that women could get these for free. Let me say up front that there's also an organization out of UCSF called hair2stay.org. And my understanding is they supplement cold caps for women who can't afford them. So this is a cold cap. And what I do with this is I freeze it the night before I go into chemo. I turn it inside out and I freeze them in my freezer, get them nice and cold. And then what you need is to get a rolling cooler. You know, just like an igloo cooler or whatever cooler you've got. And I stopped at a grocery store, find out where they have dry ice. You just get there first thing in the morning. They use gloves, so you want to also have gloves, or who's ever helping you. They'll put a block of cold, dry ice in your cooler. You then place your caps on top of the ice, roll it right into the hospital. Now that dry ice is hazardous waste, so when you leave the hospital, you'll see it's melted. You just take with your gloves that bag and put it right into the biohazardous waste container at the hospital. It couldn't be easier. Listen, there's no magic to this. This is just a gel cap. There are companies out there that are going to try to charge you $300 a month for the same cap, $600 a month, and they're more flat, and they'll tell you there's a special technology to them. And I have worked with these cold caps enough to know that there's absolutely no reason you should be renting these caps. They're cheap enough to buy. I think this one cost me $200. And frankly, they should be covered by insurance, and that should be the next step. Now at the hospitals, teaching hospitals like UCSF, just be aware there's another type of cap, and it's called a DignaCap. If you go up to UC San Francisco, you can see DignaCaps. They're actually devices that are in the wall. You put your head under them. Remember the old dryers? And they cool your scalp that way. Again, they're FDA approved. They are safe. And yet your doctors will still roll their eyes and say they don't know, they're not sure if they work, they don't know how they work, and that's just simply unacceptable. They do work. So let me show you again what I do. So we've got the roller cooler. We've got the caps frozen the night before. I do have to say that you have to use the caps at your first chemo. I've never had experience with anyone trying to start this midway. So here is what I put on my scalp, right at the headline like this. You don't want it to cover too much of your hairline because you'll lose hair there. So I get something that I can kind of just shove right in about here. This was my favorite. I use something like this. So again, it's got an opening. I folded that in half. You'll see that picture on my website. And before I put the cap on, I spray my hair. Do not get it drenched. I put it in a little ponytail. Again, you want to keep the scalp, available to be frozen. So if you've got really long hair, just make a very small bun and tuck it down at the bottom. You want to just spritz your hair so it's nice and wet. Put your cold cap on, then put in your fur around your thing, and you're all set to go. It's really that easy. In about 20 minutes, you'll see that the cap begins to unfreeze. At that point, you put this cap back in your cooler on the dry ice or underneath the dry ice. Get a new cap. So I would put my cap on 15 minutes before I receive chemo, and your nurses are really good about telling you this. They won't help you switch them out. They won't freeze them at the hospital, unless Kaiser sometimes does. Thank you, Kaiser. So bring your own cooler. And then about every 20 minutes, I would switch my caps, put them back under the dry ice, and they'll get cold again. You don't have to spritz your hair every time. Just keep switching out your cold caps, and then leave them, when your chemo is finished, you want to leave them on for an additional 15 minutes, 20 minutes. You don't have to sit there for hours. There are companies that tell you you do. I've never seen why. So that's all the stuff you need to know about cold caps. The other thing I will tell you is who they work for. I don't want to pull a rug out from anybody again. We get a lot of information coming at us when we're newly diagnosed. If you are getting adriamycin, I think I'm saying that right, or adriamycin, I have not seen these caps work. I've had adriamycin twice, and I've lost my hair in the past. UCSF says that if you've got a combination of adriamycin and Taxol or Cytoxan, or in my case, Gemplacin, you have a 50-50 chance of saving your hair. I just have to be upfront and say I have not seen that. I've tried with people who are on an A regimen or adriamycin, but it hasn't worked. If you're doing Taxol, Cytoxan, or in my case, Gemplacin, I have seen them work every time. So the trick there is to get them really frozen, use them your first time, switch them out, get dry ice, bring gloves, bring a spray bottle, bring something here to put on your forehead. People ask me, are they painful? They were not painful for me. They're just heavy, so sometimes you go to sit up and they're frozen. Some people say it is painful for them to wear. I didn't get any neuropathy, not in my feet, not in my fingers, not in my head, so I'm very fortunate. And as you can see, I not only kept my hair, it grew longer and stronger. You want to be careful in washing your hair during that process, but I even colored my hair, and you'll see pictures of me up on the web. I've documented all the process of my hair, and it was just felt like a miracle to me. I couldn't believe that I was able to save my hair, and I really, really hope this helps you save yours. Baldness is not a part of cancer. It doesn't have to be. And I've started a donation program where people have sent me their used cold caps, and I can tell you I've had a lot of barriers with hospitals, with doctors, either giving the caps away, not taking it seriously, and it's painful. There's just absolutely no reason for you to lose your hair if you're with Cytoxan, Taxol, and demand that your doctors know about these. I've been out here on my own doing this, providing caps for free, and I have 17 women who have saved their hair. I'll put more videos up online, but again, you have to use these caps on your very first chemo, about 20 minutes before you switch them out. You'll feel when they start to go. Freeze them the night before. Find a store that gives you dry ice. Get gloves for that. And then at the end, deposit the hazardous waste, which is dry ice, right into their biohazard bin. It really was very simple. And I'm frustrated that the world doesn't know more about these. These were my favorite caps. I don't work for them. I'm not selling them, but they're Elastigels. Right now, since they became FDA approved, I think Elastigel is waiting for some sort of certificate to go through. So maybe you can find some used ones. Maybe there are companies still selling these out here, but this has been my favorite. It's nice and pliable and soft. You'll find that there are some other caps out there that are very thin. They're named after a little Arctic animal, and they have these flat edges, and they're very expensive to rent. I have a woman who came to me, I had lots of women who came to me using those particular caps who had lost panels of their hair. I'll have videos up on the site and they can talk for themselves. Keep your caps if you buy them. Make sure you donate them to somebody else. There's absolutely no reason. They just clean them out. Again, they're just the simplest caps. Just like you'd wear on your knee or on your elbow. It's just a gel cap, but they've just formulated this beautifully into a cap, nice and soft. They even have them in pink, and they've been wonderful supporters of my donation program. So, thinking of you, start a donation program in your area, why don't you? And let's start keeping our hair. I love you all, and I know how hard it is, so hang in.